have a sore throat, fever, and cough. Is it the flu?
Symptoms consistent with spontaneous combustion.
That doesn't sound right.
Hysterical pregnancy. Disco fever.
What?
Maybe make an appointment at Summa Health?
Yeah, let's do that.
Get winterized with a wellness checkup and flu shot at Summa Health. Call 800-23-SUMMA or visit summahealth.org/own it today. It's your health. Let's own it together.
Last year, the Zips tied the school record for most wins in a season with 26. They were perfect at home, going 15-0, and Akron has now won 21 or more games in 11 straight seasons. That's pretty elite company right there. The Zips ended the season with a trip to the National Invitational Tournament, led by head coach Keith Dambrot here in his 13th season at Akron. The Zips are ready to get back to work. Accompanying coach on stage are senior forward Quan Cheatham and senior center Isaiah Johnson, both from Cincinnati, Ohio. Junior guards Antono Jackson from Houston, Texas, and Noah Robotham from Las Vegas, Nevada, and sophomore guard Josh Williams right here from Akron, Ohio. Coach Dambrot, could you start us off with an opening remark?
Thank you. I've never seen you dressed up before. That's pretty.
You like it? I mean, I can get down every now and then.
It's amazing. First, let me start out thanking Bud Wentz and his group for sponsoring this event. We appreciate all that you do for us. Without people like Bud, we couldn't do half the things that we've done here, so I really want to thank him for that. And Bruno and Kathy Bon Jovi, thanks for letting me bring my whole team here. I appreciate that. It's important to me. We have the two seniors, but we also have these other three guys that we've been in a lot of battles together, and I think it was important that all five of these guys are here today, and they had to make special arrangements because of that, so I want to thank you for that. Really, it's just I'm so stubborn they couldn't say no to me, so. There's a lot of nostalgia that goes into this for me. So this is 13 years, but really it's a lot longer than that when I consider that I grew up here and went to school here, and really pretty much my whole family went to school here. So it's important to me. Just a couple of facts that I think that people don't realize. We've been in 8 championship games in 10 years. In my 12 years here, we've won more regular season games than any school in the conference. We've won more conference games than any school in the conference, and we've won more conference tournament games than any school in the conference. So, you know, people think that it's easy. It really isn't easy, and it's a tribute to really the guys in the program, the stability of the program, and kind of we're like that watch. I don't really want to give anybody any free advertising, but we kind of can get hit in the mouth, and we kind of keep on ticking, right? So we've been through 4 athletic directors, Larry being the 4th one. I hope he stays a long time. We've been through 3 presidents. We've been through budget cuts. We've been through bad publicity, but we just keep ticking. And it's kind of like, because we kind of view it that, look, we're going to do our thing regardless of what the circumstances are. We're going to make no excuses regardless of the circumstances. So I'm really excited for this year for a variety of reasons, but mostly because I thought we had a really rough year as a school and a university last year, and I think that we have an opportunity now to rally around teams like ours to make our university and our city better and better and better. So our slogan this year really is pride of the city, pride in the city, because to me, the university and the city need each other. And for our university to be great, our city has to be great. And for our city to be great, our university has to be great. And we're a part of that. I think if we can build pride in our university and our city, right, we can have a great program, and our team is part of that. So I'm so proud of the guys that are up here, and really our whole team. Both Quan and Isaiah Johnson graduated in 3 years. They're in graduate school now. And what people don't realize is when you graduate early, you can go anywhere in the country and play immediately. And that's kind of how Cleveland State got depleted last year, or the last couple of years. And those guys could have gone anywhere in the country with their size and skill set, but they stayed with us, and their loyalty and commitment to us is big. And then Noah, battled through that injury and came back and is poised to have a great year. Kind of our equilibrium guy, our brains on the floor. We're really excited about what he's done to this point. And then Anthony Jackson, his development and his growth, and kind of like the lightning rod that we need. He's come a long way, both as a player and as a person, and we feel like he's poised to have an unbelievable year. So, and then you have Josh Williams, who may be one of the absolute best shooters in America, and he had an unbelievable freshman year, but he's going to have even a better year. So, a lot of our guys, they don't get that individual recognition because we've had tremendous depth over the years. I hear all the time about this guy's player of the year and that guy's player of the year, and this guy is this and that. But, we got Dog, we got Quan. Those guys are going to have unbelievable years for us this year. And I think, the thing about us is that we do it as a team. So sometimes individually our guys get hurt a little bit. So we're excited about the schedule with potential two top 20 teams in Creighton and Gonzaga, and some really good high mid-majors. So we feel like it's a very, very challenging schedule. I wish we could bring more people to come play us at home, but I think we've lost 14 games in 12 years, so nobody really wants to come here and play. So we can get some guys we get some good teams that want to scrimmage us here, but they don't really want to play games here. So with that, we'll open it up to questions.
Marla Ridenour from the Beacon Journal. I was kind of interested in Big Dog. Do you have goals for this year? I mean, Keith was talking about players not getting nationally recognized. Is that something you want?
Honestly, to me, the only thing I wanted to do is win. Like, I feel like the last 3 years that we've had the best team in the MAC, and that we should have went to the dance all 3 years. And each time we fell short for discipline reasons. So I feel like the only thing I want to do this year is win. Just make it to the dance.
George Thomas, the Akron Beacon Journal. We've seen what Josh can do from beyond the arc. You lost Kretzer and you lost McAdams. Who else do you need to step up to fill that void? And that's it.
That's an interesting question. We feel like we have a tremendous shooting team this year. I think we made 21 threes and 19 threes in the Bahamas. Without those guys were great players for us, great teammates, just stable guys, did a great job for us. But we feel like Noah being healthier, he's going to continue to shoot the ball. Josh Williams is a tremendous shooter. Anthony Jackson. Quan has had an unbelievable summer, spring, and fall. We feel like he can shoot it. And then Tavian Dunn-Martin is a terrific shooter. And he may have got hurt a little bit today, so we got to see what happens with that. But he's really done a good job shooting the ball. And then Daniel Utomi is another guy that really can shoot the ball. And I think Jamond Ivey is an improved shooter as well. So, we feel like we're not going to take much of a drop off in that regard.
Andy Harris, Gatehouse, Ohio Media. Keith, all five of these guys up here, even when they were freshmen just coming in, they played a role and were able to get integrated. How much has that played into the long-term success of the program, that guys can come in and find a role early on and develop and not sit when they first come in?
Well, I mean, we've had guys that sat and became good players for us, but we also have had guys that came in and played right away and were good players for us. So these five guys all played immediately. Probably Quan was maybe the least amount playing, but he played behind Treadwell and Zeke Marshall and Harney and those guys, so he didn't have as much of an opportunity. But then he got thrust into it as a sophomore full-time. But look, at all these guys, I think we're all MAC freshman guys, unless I'm mistaken. I think Josh was, Noah. Were you, Antono? maybe not Antono, but Antono took that huge jump last year. So, Dog, I think you were right as a freshman. I don't know, but whatever. But they've, the bottom line is nothing really changes in Akron other than the names on the back of the jerseys. So we've got 15 guys playing professional basketball right now in Europe. That's a lot. That's 3 teams. So, and they're all successful. They all do a great job. They've been really good players over there. So it wouldn't surprise me if all 5 of these guys eventually are professional basketball players as well. But the biggest thing that's different about this team is really good teammates, good understanding. Biggest thing we have, the challenge is we have these 5 that have played a lot, and then you add Ivy and Aaron Jackson, and then we have 5 guys that haven't played at all. So what we have to do is develop that bench. Normally we have probably about 9 guys that have played. This year we got a few less, but we have high quality at the top end. So you're talking about one of the best players, if not the best player in the league. You got a guy, Quan Cheatham, that can start on every team in the league and be a high-level player. You got 2 guards that have shown they can play in huge games and are high-level players, can play a lot of places. And then you got Josh that, he had as good a freshman season as anybody we've ever had. So that's the difference in this team versus what we've had in the past.
Evan Meyer, Mac Reporter Online. Josh, watching Noah, watching Antono, and then you get into the mix. How much did you learn from these 2 in the last season and coming into this season?
I feel like I learned a lot playing with these 2. Noah, as Coach D touched based on, is one of the court leaders. He's kind of like the general, if you will. He sees the court well, so I learned a lot about passing and reading the defense based off of what he does, and then playing behind Antono, just watching how much passion he plays with and things he does as far as getting the team rallied and playing with excitement. So I feel like I've learned a lot, and I feel like I've taken some steps to become better in the aspects that I've learned from them.
Nick Jordan, WZIP. This is for anybody that wants to answer. Isaiah talked about coming up short in the MAC title game, really off one shot, and then kind of running out of gas in the NIT against Ohio State. What goals have you guys set in the offseason for yourself coming into this year, and have you met them already?
The most important thing is, all of us is just on the same page of being disciplined about everything, and Coach stresses to just stay active and not give up on any plays. That's what kind of happened. And we're just going to try to be tougher, and just try to win, try to get it done this year.
With me, see, I'm a defensive type person, so I just really want everybody to play defense because offense is easy. We all can put the ball in the basket, but defense wins championships, and we haven't had one yet, so we just want to get to the dance.
Noah?
Well, Noah, you're going to get one anyhow. Saw you practicing without the brace. First of all, how does the knee feel? You looked tentative when you came back last year. Is the confidence in the knee finally back?
Yeah, I don't wear a brace anymore. To my orthopedic surgeon's discretion, I had to wear it a year from surgery, and that was March 5th, 2015. So I wore it until the remainder of the season just because I kind of grew comfortable with it. But I knew when I was coming back that it wasn't a gamble, but it was a calculated risk, if you may. I didn't even have a timetable. It was just like one day I was at practice and I was like, I can't sit here anymore. I just want to play. So that's kind of how it worked. But I feel good. To be honest, I believe I was 100% last year. Obviously, people are going to have their opinions on how it went. But I felt fit enough to play, and I felt fit enough to play at a high level. So to be honest, I'm content with the way that I carried myself last year. I had other stuff that went on off the court that we kind of kept in house. So I'm excited from what has gone on and how my teammates and coaches kind of rallied with me throughout the whole year.
Keith, everybody can talk about the schedule, but I like to ask about the opener. Last year, the Coaches versus Cancer was outstanding, or with the local teams. This year, we go over to Youngstown State. How big is that, not only for your program, but for the other 3 D1 programs in Northeast Ohio?
Well, if you really analyze it, everybody goes through some kind of cancer experience, family-wise, and we're no exception. We've obviously been hit pretty hard by it, losing Coach Peters, and then Coach Wygand's son's been through it for 9 years. So it's important to us. I mean, I'm one of those guys that I love community service, but I like community service because it's the right thing to do. I really don't care about the recognition or any of that. But listen, Coach Peters was an important cog in our program. One of my very best friends. The guys miss him on a daily basis. We can't replace what he gave us. But most importantly, it's a terrible disease that strikes everybody at some point. So that's a big event for me, and as long as I'm the coach, I'm going to push for that event. And then Coach Peters' own night that we have here. And we're even talking to Children's Hospital right now about a Survivors Night game. So those are things that I think we can give back to the community. And you can't put a dollar sign on what that means for people and kids and putting a smile on a young person's face. So those are big events for us.
Isaiah, just one more for you about what do you want to improve on this year? Do you have set things?
I'm pretty much going into this season with the same mindset that I had last season, which is focus on trying to get as many rebounds per game as I can. I feel like if I did that, I'll give my team a better chance to win. So I'm just going here just trying to improve and hopefully get about 10 to 12 a game.
This is for Quan and Isaiah. You guys basically had the college equivalent of free agency. Why come back? What is it about Keith's program?
They just like me.
Yeah, that's one of them. Nah, seriously. It just felt right. I mean, I had teams call, I had people call my parents and all that, but I just felt like I'm just a loyal person, just to anything, and I had 3 good years here going, and I just am excited for the future, and I know what kind of year that we can have this year. So it just feels special, and it felt right, just like staying here and being loyal to this fan base and to Coach Dan Brock.
That's pretty much like hitting the nail on the head. I felt like coming back here was a no-brainer, and honestly, I wanted to come back because I feel like I haven't won the way I wanted to here, and that's what this program was built on, is winning championships. And I got 1 more year left, and I want to make the most of it.
And to know you seem to be the guy who always likes taking that big shot in that pressure moment. Where does that kind of come from? Have you always been that way, or has that been something that you've kind of developed as you've gotten better as a player?
Well, I be in the gym a lot, and I work out on everything, and I just trust myself. And, Coach D trusted me to shoot it. All my teammates just live with it, whether it goes in or not. So I'm pretty confident.
Any other media questions?
Nick Jordan, WZIP. This might be a little corny, but I kind of need you guys to do it. Can you all say at the same time, "We are Akron Zips basketball"? Need it for the drop.
Sure, you're going to count it down for us?
Yeah, I'll give you a 3 count, and then "We are Akron Zips basketball." All right, 1, 2, 3.
We are Akron Zips basketball.
That is corny, by the way. Shoot, I'm 58 years old, and I think that's corny, man. Wow.
All right, we're going to open it up.
Kathy, slow down here. We're all right. We're going to go a little longer, right? We're not in any rush. They don't want to go to class anyway.
Isaiah, I just wanted to clarify something you said earlier. You said you thought you guys fell short at the end for discipline reasons. I was just Wonder what you meant by that.
Like just like on the court stuff, like just not being in the right position like we always are, just missing an extra pass or missing an easy layup, just not focusing in how we should have. And I feel like that's the reason why we fell short so many times.
Let me talk about that a little bit. So it's amazing how expectation levels are different for every program. So a lot of people would be happy with 26 wins and this and that and the other, but our guys have such high expectations. So we missed a box out. We made a bad foul at the end of the game. You know, errors of omission. We tried really hard. We didn't play a great game, but, you know, we played good enough to win. And so, again, that's the difference between our program and other people, is that we have the expectation that we should win every night. And so the difference between us and some other people in the league is we're going to play every night. Now, some of these other people, they can ramp up for that tournament, which makes it a little bit more difficult, right, for us, because the margin of error in this league is like that. So when they ramp up, like, we can't ramp up as much as they can because we play every night. So I think that's part of the thing that's a little bit hard to understand, because in this league, it comes down to that one night. And so, you know, it's a 3-game event, really, right? And so not always is it the best team that wins. It's the one that can play the best 3 games that can win, or maybe the best game, or maybe the best last 5 minutes. So that's what makes it such a unique deal. And I think we can learn some things from the Cleveland Indians. You know, I sit there and I watched that game last night, or not last night, but the series in general, and they look like the looser team to me. Like, they just look more relaxed, having more fun between Lindor and Kipnis and those guys. They look like they're just having a ball, right? And so I think that's something that we have to keep in mind when we get in those situations again.
Now we're going to open it up to the fans. Anybody in the audience have a question for Coach or the players? Raise your hand.
I'm Derek Daly. I'm a graduate student. My question is, we know that you have had an extremely good record being in very elite company with the 21-plus wins over the past couple seasons. Do you feel that you've reached a level that you're nationally respected? And if yes, what do you think took you to that level to have coaches other teams, Gonzaga, Villanova, Creighton, all those teams you played? Or if not, what do you think it would take to get to that level where the bigger teams are really fearing you coming in to their arena since they apparently won't come here? What is going to take them? What's it going to take?
What are you a graduate student in? Higher ed,
Higher
I could tell. Well, I've coached a long time, so I have a really good pulse as to where our program is. And certainly, if you talk to the coaches around the country, the very best coaches in the country, they have tremendous respect for our program. The fans don't know, right? So most fans, if you go to North Carolina, they wouldn't know anything about whether Akron's any good or not, but Roy Williams would, and Bob Huggins would, and Mark Few would, and Bill Self would, and a lot of coaches around the country know how good a program we are. I'll use Michigan as an example. We were on the road this summer, and their assistant coach said, "You done with their schedule?" And I said, "Yeah, but are you?" And he said, "No, we're looking for a bye game." And I said, "Well, we can drop a game and we'll get bought by you." He said, "We're not playing you." And so the reason is they need to win games. Now, people like Creighton and Gonzaga will buy us. The difference is because their leagues aren't quite as good, they need a high RPI game. Whereas the Big Ten doesn't need the high RPI game, they need the win. So that's the dilemma we're in. Dayton's not coming here, Xavier's not coming here. We can bring the Middle Tennessees of the world in, who are really good teams, but our fans wouldn't know they're really good teams. So that's the tough part of it. So scheduling is always going to be an issue here. Listen, we've got some things that we can do to improve the program. There's no question. And down the line, We're going to work really hard on that arena, right? And we're going to need our fan base and our donor base and our city to help us with that. And so one of my goals before I retire is to renovate that arena so that we can take the next jump. So I'm not too worried about it for me, although it would be nice. But for the next coach here, I'm going to make sure that they have a new arena. That's going to be one of the goals that I have for myself. Because again, I go back to when I was 4 years old coming to games here. Like, this place is important to me. So the rest of the city of Akron, we need them to take that same approach. Look, it's okay to like Ohio State. I'm from Ohio too. I like Ohio State, but I live in Akron. And so just so we're clear on this, my mom is from Pittsburgh, or was from Pittsburgh. My dad is from New York City, but they're Akron fans because they lived in Akron. So it's important that we rally around each other now and do some things to really make this place what it should be. And we're close, but like, we got to ramp up and do better. And that's kind of what my waning years are going to be. And I'm not done yet, by the way, so don't write that. I've still got a lot of years left. But my waning years, I'm going to make sure that this place is the best program that it can be. Good question, though.
Anybody else?
Okay. My name is Nick Dotson. I'm a senior here, and I'm a business student. And I was just wondering, with the current involvement of LeBron James with the school, and he's now a student, what role is he going to take in the team possibly? He's not going to play, I know that, but like, I'm asking, is he going to come to more games? Is he going to give you helpful tips, kind of like he did with OSU's basketball team?
I give him helpful tips. Now listen, so LeBron already helps us, right? So we have one of the best equipment deals in the country because of LeBron. The affiliation with him and the school and us is a huge affiliation. It gets us in the door with players. We've got, guys like that Nike deal, trust me. So it's a huge deal. He comes to as many games as he can get to. We haven't had him around as much because of the Olympic basketball, and obviously he's got some family responsibilities now, but he cares about our program. If you remember last year when they asked him who he was rooting for, Ohio State or Akron, he might have hesitated for a second, but when push came to shove, it was Akron, right? So just him being around our program is a big deal. So when he retires, I think we'll see him a little bit more, but he's got a few years left too. So. And I'll take any tips from him I can get because he's a basketball genius.
Any other questions?
Alrighty, that will do it for our 2016 Basketball MAC Media Day. Thank you, media, fans, and students for attending, and go Zips.